Echoes of the Forgotten. The grand archives of the Galactic Union spanned an entire moon, orbiting the capital world of Centauri Prime. Within its crystalline halls, historical records of 27 sentient species stretched back tens of thousands of years. Every significant event, discovery, and conflict meticulously documented and preserved for posterity. Every significant event, that is, except one. Senior archivist Salvor moved silently through the restricted access wing, his elongated fingers tracing along shelves housing the Union's most classified information. As a Viridian, his species' photographic memory and analytical mind made him perfectly suited for his role. 300 years of dedicated service had earned him clearance to areas most Union citizens didn't even know existed. System: access xenobiological extinction records. Pre-Union era, Zalvor commanded, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the soft blue glow of the terminal. The system responded with a holographic display of extinct sentient species. Most had fallen to natural disasters, pandemic diseases, or unfortunate evolutionary dead ends. Zalvor scrolled through the records with practiced efficiency until he reached an anomaly. A record with minimal data flagged with the highest security classification. Species designation: human, Terra/Sol system. Classification: extinct. Date of extinction: 2,897 standard years ago. Cause: unspecified natural catastrophe. Additional data: access restricted by Galactic Union Security Directive 7 Alpha. Curious, Zalvor murmured, his skin chromatophores shifting to a contemplative blue-green. System: display all available data on species human. ACSD and IDD. Security Celerancy Insufficient. Zalvor's chromatophores flashed yellow with surprise. Even with his senior status, information was being withheld. In 3 centuries of service, he had never encountered such a restriction. Override. Authorization: Zalvor Prime Archivist Theta. Access granted. Limited data available. The display flickered, revealing a sparse collection of information. Basic biological characteristics, planetary origin data, and a few low-resolution images of bipedal beings with various skin tones and physical features. What caught Salvor's attention was a behavioral analysis marked high threat assessment. Unprecedented adaptive capacity, aggressive expansionist tendencies, technological advancement rate exceeding all known parameters. Recommendation: continuous monitoring. The file ended abruptly, with all subsequent information redacted or deleted. System: when was this file last accessed? 17 standard days ago, by High Counselor Draxmol. Zalvor's skin darkened with concern. The High Counselor of Security accessing an extinct species file. Something didn't align with the official narrative. 3 weeks later, Zalvor found himself aboard the research vessel Seeker of Truth, approaching the abandoned system once called Sol. His unofficial investigation had revealed disturbing inconsistencies in the human extinction record. Permission for this expedition had been granted only after Salvor disguised its true purpose as a routine archaeological survey. Senior archivist: we're approaching the 3rd planet, announced Captain Lirishan, a meridian with iridescent scales that shimmered under the bridge lights. Preliminary scans indicate extensive planetary scarring consistent with orbital bombardment, not natural disaster. Zalvor moved to the observation deck, staring at the approaching planet. Terra, the human homeworld, was a wasteland of barren continents and toxic oceans. Evidence of civilization remained visible, but as ruins and craters rather than the remnants of a natural catastrophe. This wasn't an extinction, Zalvor stated flatly. This was extermination. Such accusations are dangerous, archivist, cautioned the captain, mandibles clicking nervously. The Union does not condone genocide. The official record must be falsified, interrupted Zalvor. The question is why? What could a pre-spacefaring species have done to warrant such complete destruction? And why hide it? Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from the sensor officer. "Sir, we're detecting anomalous energy readings from the fourth planet. Faint but consistent with active technology." "Impossible," replied the captain. "This system has been quarantined since the extinction event." "Plot a course to the fourth planet," ordered Salvor, ignoring protocol. "Something survived here." Mars, the fourth planet of the Sol system, appeared as a rust-colored desert world as the Seeker of Truth entered orbit. Surface scans revealed nothing unusual until they passed over the northern polar region, where subtle energy fluctuations emanated from beneath the ice cap. "The readings are masked by some kind of interference field," explained Science Officer Trell. "Whoever designed it intended to hide from Union detection protocols." Zelvor made his decision quickly. "Prepare a landing team. I will lead the expedition personally." The descent to the Martian surface was uneventful, their shuttle touching down on the crimson sands near the energy source. Clad in environmental suits, Zalvor led his team across the desolate landscape toward a seemingly ordinary cliff face. "The readings are stronger here," indicated Officer Trell, consulting her scanner. "But I see no entrance or—" As if responding to their presence, a section of the cliff face shimmered and dissolved, revealing a massive doorway carved into the mountain. Ancient symbols decorated the entrance, mathematical sequences, and geometric patterns that transcended linguistic barriers. "A recognition system," whispered Salvor. "It detected our technology and revealed itself." The team cautiously entered the darkened passage, which illuminated with soft blue lighting as they advanced. The corridor stretched deep into the mountain, eventually opening into a vast chamber filled with thousands of cylindrical pods arranged in concentric circles. "Stasis technology," gasped Officer Trell, scanning the nearest pod. "And far more advanced than Union capabilities." Zalvor approached the central console, where a holographic interface activated at his proximity. Symbols and diagrams flashed before resolving into Union standard language. "Verification protocol initiated. Genetic sampling required." "It's adapting to us," Zalvor said, both impressed and unsettled. A small compartment opened in the console. Following intuition rather than protocol, Zalvor placed his hand inside. A momentary sting indicated a tissue sample had been taken. "Species identified. VERDA. Non-hostile classification. Co-unfamiliar. Access granted." The chamber hummed with awakening energy as one of the stasis pods began to rise from the floor. Steam hissed as the transparent cover retracted, revealing its occupant, a human female with dark skin and close-cropped white hair, appearing to be in suspended animation. "Is she alive?" asked Captain Lirshan, who had insisted on joining the expedition. Before anyone could answer, the human's eyes snapped open. Deep brown and alert, they surveyed the aliens with remarkable composure for someone awakening after millennia. Verification protocol complete. She spoke in perfect Union standard, her voice strong despite centuries of disuse. "I am Commander Imani Khalid, Earth Defense Force, and you are the first visitors we've welcomed in 3,000 years." Zalvor's chromatophores pulsed with astonishment. "How is this possible? Your species was reported extinct, your world destroyed." Commander Khalid sat up slowly, muscles responding with surprising coordination. "Nearly extinct, but humanity planned for that possibility. While our homeworld burned, Operation Legacy ensured our survival." She gestured to the thousands of stasis pods surrounding them. "We are the contingency, 10,000 of Earth's finest, preserved until the galaxy was ready for humanity's return." "Return." Captain Lirshan's mandibles clicked rapidly in alarm. "The Union believes your species eradicated. And who do you think carried out that eradication, Captain?" Khalid fixed the meridian with a steady gaze. "Your precious Union's founding species, the Arcturians, determined that humanity's rapid advancement posed an existential threat. Rather than risk potential competition, they opted for preventative genocide. Zalvor's investigative instincts flared. The Arcturians are extinct themselves. They disappeared nearly 2,000 years ago. A cold smile crossed Khalid's face. Did they? How convenient for the historical narrative. Before Zalvor could question further, alarms blared throughout the facility. Khalid glanced at a display that materialized beside her pod. It seems your visit hasn't gone unnoticed. Union military vessels have entered the system and are on approach. Curious timing, wouldn't you say? Captain Lirshan's communication device chimed urgently. The message was brief but clear. You have violated Quarantine Protocol Omega. Withdraw immediately. This system is now under direct Union control. Zalvor felt the foundations of his understanding crumble. The rushed response, the direct military intervention. Someone in the Union's highest echelons feared what they might discover here. You have a choice to make, Archivist, said Commander Khalid, now fully emerged from her pod and donning what appeared to be a military uniform that had been stored nearby. Leave and pretend you found nothing, or stay and learn why the galaxy's most powerful institution feared a young species enough to commit genocide. Around them, other stasis pods began the awakening sequence, their occupants stirring to life after 3 millennia of patient waiting. The truth has been buried for too long, Zalvor decided, his skin settling into a determined deep blue. And I am, above all else, a keeper of history. Commander Khalid nodded with approval as more humans emerged from stasis, their eyes reflecting not vengeance, but something perhaps more dangerous: purpose. Then welcome, Archivist Zalvor, to humanity's resurrection. The galaxy's reckoning has finally arrived. The awakening storm. The Martian facility transformed from silent tomb to military command center with astonishing speed. Within hours, hundreds of humans had awakened from stasis, each moving with the precision of trained soldiers despite millennia of sleep. Zalvor observed their efficiency with growing amazement. Your people seem remarkably well preserved, he noted to Commander Khalid, as they stood before a massive holographic display showing Union fleet movements in the system. Our stasis technology cannot prevent significant neural and muscular degradation over such timeframes. Khalid's expression remained neutral. Necessity drove innovation. When facing extinction, human ingenuity tends to accelerate dramatically. The commander turned to address a gathering of officers, each wearing uniforms with different insignias representing Earth's former nations and military branches. Status report on Operation Phoenix. A tall man with features indicating East Asian ancestry stepped forward. All primary systems operational. Commander. Defensive protocols active, and the fleet is awakening on schedule. Estimated combat readiness in 6 hours. Fleet. Captain Lirshan interjected, mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. What fleet could possibly remain after 3,000 years? Commander Khalid merely gestured toward another holographic display, which showed the Martian surface peeling back like a shell, revealing massive underground hangars. Within them, sleek vessels of unfamiliar design stood ready, their hulls gleaming as if newly constructed. When we realized what was coming, humanity didn't just preserve people, Khalid explained. We preserved everything. Our knowledge, our technology, our capacity to defend ourselves. The Arcturians thought they were being thorough, but they underestimated human determination. Zalvor's skin rippled with conflicting emotions. The Union vessels will arrive within hours. They outmatch anything from 3 millennia ago, regardless of preservation. A new voice joined the conversation, deep, confident, and belonging to a human male who approached with the measured steps of authority. That would be true, if we had merely preserved our technology as it existed then. Commander Khalid straightened perceptibly. Archivist Zalvor, Captain Lirshan. This is Admiral Marcus Chen, Supreme Commander of the Earth Defense Force. The Admiral nodded respectfully to the aliens. While we slept, we didn't idle. The facility's automated systems continued research and development based on our final scientific breakthroughs. The ships you see aren't relics. They're the culmination of 3,000 years of uninterrupted advancement. As Zalvor struggled to process the implications, you're saying that while in stasis, your people continued to evolve, finished Admiral Chen. Not biologically, but technologically. The Arcturians feared our potential and tried to extinguish it. Instead, they merely drove it underground where it flourished without constraints or ethical oversight. A chill passed through Zalvor's body. The Union's greatest fear, unregulated technological advancement, had not only survived but thrived in isolation. "You speak of revenge," Captain Lirshan said, his voice barely above a whisper. "The Union of today bears no responsibility for actions taken millennia ago. Most member species weren't even part of galactic society then." "This isn't about revenge, Captain," corrected Admiral Chen. "It's about justice and security. The architects of our genocide may have hidden their identities, but they didn't disappear. They merely changed their appearance." With a gesture, Chen activated another display showing genetic profiles of various Union species, with certain patterns highlighted. The Arcturians didn't go extinct. They genetically modified themselves into what you now call the Primarchs, the Union's ruling council. The revelation struck Zalvor like a physical blow. The Primarchs, revered as the Union's wisest members, originated from the same species that had attempted humanity's extinction. "We have evidence," continued Chen, "that they've done this before. Species that advance too quickly mysteriously suffered catastrophes, while the Arcturians, now Primarchs, consolidated power. We weren't their first victims, just the most recent." Commander Khalid approached the stunned archivist. "We need allies within the Union, Zalvor, those who value truth and justice over power. The coming confrontation isn't human against alien. It's those who defend liberty against those who demand control." The Union flagship Arbiter of Peace dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system, leading a battle group of 30 warships. On its command bridge, Supreme Admiral Vex Morin studied tactical displays with growing concern. No response from the research vessel. He asked his communications officer. "None, Supreme Admiral." Their last transmission indicated they were investigating anomalous readings on the fourth planet. Vex Morin's tendrils writhed with irritation. A simple containment operation had escalated into potential disaster. The Primarchs had been explicit. Nothing from this system could be allowed to reach the wider Union. "Set course for the fourth planet. Prepare boarding parties and sterilization protocols if necessary." As the Union fleet accelerated toward Mars, sensors detected unexpected energy signatures emerging from the planet's surface. "Supreme Admiral," called the sensor officer, voice wavering. "We're detecting multiple launches from the planet. Configuration unknown, but power signatures exceed Union military standards by. This can't be right. By factors of 10 or more." Vex Morin watched in disbelief as the tactical display showed dozens of vessels rising from Mars, their formations perfect, their movements synchronized with impossible precision. Before he could issue orders, a communication request flashed on his personal console. Curiosity overriding caution, he accepted the transmission. The holographic image of a human female appeared before him, an impossibility that momentarily robbed him of speech. "Supreme Admiral Vex Morin." She addressed him by name and rank without introduction. "I am Commander Imani Khalid of the Earth Defense Force. You have entered sovereign human territory without authorization." Recovering his composure, Vex Morin responded with practiced authority. "There is no recognized human territory. Your species has been officially extinct for nearly 3 millennia. Surrender immediately or face the consequences." Khalid's expression remained unnervingly calm. "Before you make threats, Admiral, I suggest you analyze our capabilities more thoroughly." As if on cue, one of the human vessels accelerated toward the Union fleet, stopping just beyond weapons range. Before defensive systems could target it, the vessel emitted a pulse of energy that washed over the Union ships harmlessly, or so it initially appeared. Supreme Admiral, reported the systems officer in panic, all weapons systems have been disabled. Propulsion limited to maneuvering thrusters only. Whatever they hit us with, it selectively targeted our offensive capabilities. Impossible, breathed Vex Moran. No technology in the Union arsenal could achieve such precise system suppression. Commander Khaled's hologram displayed the first hint of emotion, a slight, knowing smile. We could have disabled life support just as easily, Admiral. Consider this demonstration a gesture of restraint. The tactical situation had deteriorated beyond salvage. With weapons disabled and facing unknown technology, Vex Moran had few options. What do you want? Truth and accountability, Khaled replied immediately. We have evidence that your Primarchs are, in fact, genetically modified Arcturians, the same species that attempted our extinction. We demand a Union-wide inquiry into their past actions and current identities. Vex Moran's tendrils went rigid with shock. Such accusations against the Primarchs were unprecedented. And yet, certain classified historical inconsistencies suddenly aligned in his mind. The Primarchs will never allow such an investigation, he stated, knowing the words to be true even as he spoke them. Then perhaps the Primarchs shouldn't have sole authority over what the Union allows, countered Khaled. We've transmitted evidence to your archivist, Salvor, who is currently under our protection. Similar data packages are being dispatched to every member world of the Union. The truth will emerge, Admiral, with or without your cooperation. Vex Moran considered his options. The Primarchs had ordered containment at any cost, but faced with superior technology and the potential political fallout of attacking a species thought extinct for millennia, military action seemed increasingly unwise. I will convey your message to Union leadership, he finally conceded, but I cannot guarantee their response. We don't expect guarantees, Admiral, Khaled replied. Only the opportunity for justice. Humanity doesn't seek war. We've seen enough destruction. But we will not remain hidden, while those who attempted our genocide continue to threaten other species. The transmission ended, leaving Vex Moran to contemplate implications that stretched beyond military concerns into the very foundations of Union history and governance. Back on Mars, Salvor watched the Union fleet retreat to a safe distance, maintaining position but no longer advancing. They will report to the Primarchs, he noted. This confrontation has only begun. Yes, agreed Admiral Chen, but not on their terms. For 3,000 years, they've controlled the narrative. That advantage is now gone. Commander Khaled joined them, reviewing data on a holographic display. The information packages have been delivered to all 86 member worlds. The encryption will break sequentially over the next 30 hours, giving the truth time to spread beyond Primarch control. And then, asked Salvor, his historian's mind already contemplating the societal upheaval to come. Then the Union faces a choice, Khaled said simply. Reform or fracture. Either way, the system that allowed genocide to become policy ends now. A young human officer approached, offering Admiral Chen a small device. He examined it briefly before handing it to Salvor. Our gift to you, Archivist. The complete, unaltered history of humanity and our interactions with the early Union. What you choose to do with it reflects your own conscience, not our influence. If Salvor accepted the device, understanding its significance, in his hands lay the power to either validate or challenge millennia of Union historical doctrine. History belongs to those who survive to write it, he said thoughtfully. Today, that narrative expands to include voices long silenced. Through the command center's viewport, the Martian landscape stretched red and vast beneath an alien sky. But beneath that rusty surface, humanity's resurrection continued, not as conquerors or revenge seekers, but as witnesses to a truth too long denied. The Primarchs feared humanity's potential. Admiral Chen observed, watching more ships rise from hidden hangars. Perhaps now they'll understand why. Not because we were destined to destroy, but because we refused to be destroyed. The galaxy changes today, Commander Khalid said, her voice carrying the weight of 3,000 years of patient waiting. Not because humanity demands vengeance, but because truth demands recognition. As the human fleet took formation above their temporary home, Zalvor realized he was witnessing not just the return of a species thought lost, but the beginning of a fundamental transformation in galactic society. The Union had been built on hidden foundations of fear and preemptive violence. Whatever emerged from the coming storm would bear little resemblance to what came before. And perhaps, he thought, that was precisely what the galaxy needed, not the comfortable lies of the powerful, but the uncomfortable truths of the resilient. Humanity had returned, and with them, a reckoning 3 millennia in the making.